Hello, my name's Maria Mitchell, and you're watching Ascension Presents.
Ascension presents.
With me today, Paul J. Kim.
That's right. I'm right here. Hello, dear. Lovely to meet you.
I'm Paul J. Kim today here for our Caffeinated Conversation. For those of you wondering, he takes his iced coffee with 4 sugars.
Cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar for the governor.
That's right.
So, Paul.
Hi.
Paul, tell us all about yourself. How did you get into speaking?
Well, developmentally, children learn how to speak at an early age. I found that growing up in school, I was kind of the class clown.
Yeah.
So I realized that I could influence people, at least make them laugh. And I think that stuck with me for a while. And it wasn't really until college where I had a reawakening in my Catholic faith. Born and raised Catholic, but didn't like going to church. Only went to church for 2 reasons, girls and donuts. So
those are solid reasons.
those are
but
solid reasons. You know, God uses
more.
everything, right?
Yeah, right?
So he's like, here are some donuts, Paul.
That's
Come
hysterical.
receive the sacraments. I'll help you understand later. But it was an awakening that kind of happened my high school year and really took effect in my college years. As I was acting a little cray-cray and then coming back to my dorm room and praying the rosary and weird things, weird times. And yet God would use all these experiences to kind of awaken this desire in me, which was to come to know Him. And so, very long story short, I enjoyed working with young people. I enjoyed sharing my faith in a humorous way, but using music as well. Beatboxing, spoken words, some raps.
So great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so that kind of morphed years later into this full-time ministry I'm doing, which is really outreach to the youth of America and sometimes abroad internationally. And my favorite population to work with are the kids who don't want to be there.
Were you that person originally? Like
Oh
for a
yeah,
different
Catholic
thing?
pagan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catholic pagan, ready
Catholic
to go?
pagan.
Yeah, like why that specifically? Just 'cause
You know, I think the youth really have a difficult thing ahead of them, which is, I mean, just as time progresses, the culture gets kind of further away from the gospel truths and just more and more the media age that we live in and so many distractions and just a lot of people leading them astray. My whole thing, and I think JP2, St. John Paul II once said this, and is that if the church fails to engage the culture, then the gospel remains silent. And so the whole purpose here is how can we reawaken in people's hearts and minds their hunger and their desire for Catholicism and more importantly a relationship with Christ within the context of the church. How do we do that in a way that's going to really appeal to people? Because the methods that were used 40, 50 years ago, which some people think are the same things that work today,
definitely
do not work.
Right, and that's something that's so strong about your ministry. You really bring relevant pop culture references straight into all your talks, which is so necessary. It's like, it's definitely John Paul.
Yeah. My thought, I can't speak Polish though, but actually a little bit. Bardzo dobrze.
Przepraszam.
Jestem Paweł, bardzo mi miło, szczęść Boże. That's all
That's pretty good.
Yeah, enough to like fool the grandma for a little bit.
That's
Yeah,
good.
just gives me like
Keep repeating that.
free pierogies. So, anyways, I think you know my thing is, you know, God is so gracious in that He uses all of us, right? He doesn't want to just chop us up into little bits and go, oh, okay, just this part is good. You know, He wants to, in essence, baptize all of us, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people understand faithful Catholicism to mean, oh, righty then, I am Catholic, I don't know how to have fun, so I'll stare at you on Fridays during Lent while you eat hamburgers and pray.
It's totally true. There's not a way
I want to be
of, like,
Catholic now!
Yeah. No, it's not making the faith real, which you do too really well with your music, integrating that into your speaking.
Music has always been great, and you know, what universal things reach out to so many people other than humor and music? I mean, they're really
It's true, those two are so solid.
oh my goodness, you could like control the masses with those two things,
and
right?
the masses are controlled by those two things. Yeah.
We will obey. But yeah, it's true. I mean, music, comedy, these are so powerful, you know, in terms of really reaching people's hearts. And I'm so grateful that in some sense God has equipped me with that in my tool belt. So I can use that to really reach hearts, and particularly young people where, you know, they hear a lot of music out there and they're like, hey, yeah, I really like the beat. Like, I'm like feeling the beat. Like, hold on, hey. And they're like, do you know what they're singing about in that song? They're like, no, I just like the beat. And you're like, you would be disgusted if you Googled that up, you know?
You talked about just being aware of what you're exposing yourself to and not just being a passive consumer, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the more information we're kind of exposed to on a daily basis, we forget the power of media. We forget the power of hearing a certain message over and over again, packaged in a certain way. So whether it's the news media, whether it's these articles that people post online, or whenever like there's a really controversial topic, you know, I mean, you name them. Teens, young adults are being exposed to this day in and day out. And it becomes a real challenge when, morally or spiritually speaking, you know, as the saying goes, I mean, the devil's not stupid.
Right.
He's not gonna be
No,
like,
he's very smart.
hey kids, you want candy? You want bad things for your soul? You know, and they'll be like, no, I'd like to go to church right now. You know, but think about it, it's like C.S. Lewis, right? The Screw Tape Letters. It's all this, it's the premise of the book is about these two demons. One's like a senior demon and one's a younger demon, like an apprentice. And they're learning all the tricks of the trade, the ways to how do we like damn souls? How do we lead people astray? And he's saying that it's not gonna work if you pop out of bushes and like scare small children, but how do we do it in such a subtle way where over time people literally fall into certain errors? And so in a way that maybe is a little bit more digestible, my desire, my heart is to encounter the culture so that they can have that space to reflect on their life and say, okay, what am I subscribing to? How am I living my life? Does my faith in Christ or being a Catholic, does that make any difference to me? And you know, like I tell you sometimes in my talks, if your faith doesn't challenge you in any way, shape, or form, there might be something wrong.
Right. No, it's true, but and the culture so much tells us to avoid suffering, anything that would challenge us. And so it's very countercultural to be of a faith that you're supposed to embrace suffering and you're supposed to really gain your sainthood through that.
Yeah, but our faith is always demanding. It's demanding that we grow beyond ourselves and our comforts, and we remember other people, remember God. And so, you know, my wife and I, we count our blessings every day. We give thanks to God for everything that we've been given, because we've been given much.
Right.
But we realize that there's this need for us to give back, right? And so, you know, we're trying to discern that all the time, and you know, it's really important because once again, our faith isn't supposed to be this comfortable joyride all the way to heaven. Like we're called to be here to do good. Just this awareness that our faith isn't just for ourselves, it's for everybody. So online or offline, it's all important.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of sharing your gifts with others, you're a really pretty good beatboxer.
That's right.
Can you teach a little white girl how to no, Bob told me I can't say drop a beat. He told me that was too white. You just teach me how to beatbox.
DJ Maria, drop the beat. Say what?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, what? Chicken later. But before we go, Paul, how can people go to your site and see more of your real music?
Go on the interwebs.
Into the web.
And my name, once again, is Paul J. Kim, pjkmusic.com, and there they can find some of my music videos, some of the talks that I've given, some of the interviews and such. Yeah, check it out online. Follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. To make that shorter, it's YouTwitface, and also Instagram. I'm on there.
Solid.
Music
Good.
is on iTunes, but and thank you,
welcome.
Ascension Press,
Woohoo.
producer of fine articles of Catholic media.
That's right.
And various interviews over coffee. So
Very
Maria,
good.
you're awesome.
Yeah,
thank you so
much.
much. It's been great.
Yeah, so good. So this is Ascension Presents. You can like and subscribe us on YouTube as well, and then you'll get other cool videos like this. We've got more coming from Paul Kim, so definitely subscribe, and we'll see you guys later. Au revoir, ta-ta.
Chicka chicka what?
Cheerio.